We got it. We here.
Yeah. Oh wait, wrong scene.
You're so stupid.
You're welcome. You're
Oh my
welcome.
goodness.
What? I had
Are we
every guys
good?
thinking. Yes, we're good.
Okay,
Chat. We can
sweet.
all hear him. Can you
I'm
guys
gonna have
hear
to like.
us? I'm not muted, am I?
No,
That's
you're good.
horrible.
You're good. I just want to make sure I'm lined up in the frame well. There we go. Perfect.
You're lined up good. I feel
Bro,
like
I'm dead.
I was symmetrical enough. I was literally gauging with my eyeballs of like, does it look like they're both really good squares?
No, you. The freaking deadliest podcast is a big deal. So dumb.
I had to.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
It had to be great. It's just weird
I
because
love it.
then like I follow an artist named No Big Deal, and so when I've talked to my Cal and I've said like I have my editor and his name's like I just say refer to Dill, and then sometimes he goes like Dill because he's like wait a second Dill
Right.
No Big Deal. I'm like
not
no
big deal,
no this Dill's a deadly Dill, like that one's a no
I mean,
big
I
deal
can
but that
rap.
one's deadly.
I can rap right now. I'm just kidding. Don't.
All right, all ears on Dill. He's about to
Oh
drop
my
the
God.
hottest bar
About to drop the hottest freestyle. Oh my
from
goodness.
Florida. She can hear you from Florida, she said.
Yep, all the fams in Florida right now. They're living with in-laws at the moment while we situate life, but it's good. It's good. I'm glad to have everyone on here.
Yeah, this is great. How have you been, Senor? With everything?
Good, man. Yeah, everything's been good, bro. We just we've been just working a ton, been doing coffee stuff, and I've actually been doing a lot of coffee content lately just because I've been working at the coffee shop so much. And so that's kind of been what I've been up to, and working a lot at the coffee shop and doing a lot of video editing. So just been busy. Been busy trying to figure out what the Lord wants to do in this next season of life and just where we're at. So yeah, we're good though.
I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna find something. I have to find
yeah.
something. Like it's either that's why we're thinking about. I know I was talking to you earlier, but we were thinking about moving back to Tucson because it's either us buying a house here because they don't. So it's weird coming into a small town because they literally don't have everything, so that sucks. One, and then coming from like a place that almost had 1 million people to like having a tenth of that, and then
Right.
like in Tucson, there's 5 and 6 bedroom and 7 bedroom apartments that are available and stuff. Not that I
Right.
want to be in an apartment all my life, but like that would just be an easier transition for us having a third child because we can't stuff them all into one room. I mean, you could, but then I'd
It's
have
not fun.
a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and at the time, this time next year, essentially, we'd have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old all in the same room, and that would be horrible. So we don't want to do that. So we're trying to figure out what do we do. And so there's the only options right now really on the board. Well, we have to move. That's the option that's on the board. But it's either figuring out how to buy a house here that has the space, but then all the houses here literally look like they were made in the 1850s, which is
Probably
horrible.
the last time a house was built in North Dakota. So
it literally looks like it. I don't understand. Like, and they're not easy to traverse because they have, when you walk into these houses, they have like instantly it's just this little small foyer, all the ones that we've seen, this little small foyer, and they have stairs that go up and then stairs that go down instantly, like one that goes into a basement and one that goes there, and then like half right here's the kitchen, and they have like 2 rooms and the rest of the rooms are below, and I'm like, I don't like that. It's just way too much. I'm not carrying a baby up and downstairs, or all the kids up and downstairs, especially when they don't want to be held by my wife. Like I ain't doing that.
You know what's funny? You said, I know, because it's clicking now, because I know you said you're from Tucson originally, right? So my parents are actually looking into moving to Tucson. So if my parents move out there, then you get to see the deadliest of dills all the time.
And like my moderator Omar, then need to be able to give the deadliest freestyles, the deadliest freestyle.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, dude. So that's cool, man. That's exciting. 3 kids is wild because I think 1 to 2 was harder than 2 to 3. Well, for us though, you still gonna have a 3-year-old though. You're gonna have a 3, a 2, and a 1. 3, a 2, and a newborn, right?
Well, right now, technically, right now we're gonna have a 2, a 1, and a newborn, and they're all in the same month, not by choice. First one, like Aloy, is our daughter. She's our first one. She was born like at 9 months on December 9th, and so in a couple days she'll be 2. Or like not a couple days, in about a week from now she'll be 2. And then my wife developed those weird pregnancy things that you can only get while pregnancy, so she developed cholestasis, which it pushes us to have to induce a month prior. So so my son got born 8 months prior. He should have been a January baby, but he was born on December 30th. And now this new child, we don't know the gender. We're gonna figure out once it's born. Their also due date was for January, but now that got pushed back. And so they're going to be born between the 22nd and the 26th. Like 27th is the deadline for them because they have to do it at 8 months, because apparently with cholestasis, for some reason, there's like studies that if they literally go 8 months and a day, there's like the chances of your baby being stillborn is like 98%. So they don't let anything happen,
Whoa.
which is crazy. December is a big month for your family now. Yeah, that is Pastor playing. But that's
Jeez.
so like not in the other two, not intentionally did we want to have December babies, but now we have them all in December babies, and it's a little bit of a different like. It's cool. I don't mind it. I love like Christmas. My wife loves Christmas,
Right.
all that other stuff. But then it's also like now I got to coach my family a lot because I want them to understand like you can't do a one present like fits all type of thing because now you're robbing them of their
Well, we
like
have to do the same thing with my oldest. She's born on Christmas Eve. My
oh
oldest is born on Christmas Eve, like day of 7 p.m. Christmas Eve night. And so we have to do the same exact thing with our oldest and tell people like you can't. And now if there's certain circumstances, like if it's a really big present and she really wants something, then it's like okay, like we can maybe combine the two, but we're not gonna combine Christmas and her birthday together, if that makes sense. So like we
no.
do the first half of the day is all of her birthday. So from morning till like we go to Christmas Eve service for church, like it is all her birthday. Like birthday decorations up, we're going, and birthday cake, birthday breakfast, and then after that we switch everything over to Christmas, and then we do a birthday party for her after the holidays are over. Like we do a really big birthday party, or we do it like a week or two before, but we found doing it then it's like people are in the Christmas mood, and like so we just do like a big party for her like a month or a couple weeks after the holidays. So but you with all three of your kids born in December, no, it's gonna
Yeah,
be. When's your birthday?
my birthday is in May. My wife's is in June. So I was
Okay,
telling my
so
wife, like,
that's good. You got a
yeah,
little bit of a reprieve.
I was telling my wife like I wanted to have another kid born in May, and I thought this one was gonna be it, but because for a long time it was really weird. Like side note, just for everybody knows, this is not me saying go do whatever the heck you want. Like moderation, wait until marriage, but it's not as hard to get pregnant as they make it seem in high school. That's my biggest thing. Like I tell my friends that are newlyweds, they're like, we're gonna sleep with each other, and then all of a sudden a baby's gonna pop out. I'm like, bro, it don't happen that way. Because when you're sitting there like, I want a baby, we're planning for it, we're doing it now, and then like some couples, it's like 6 months down the road of consistently trying, and they're like, got a baby, we did it. And some couples, it's
Dude,
like dating the first night,
forever.
boom. And
Bro, we
so
got pregnant within 3 months of being married. I was like, bro, how did this? And then it took like forever because we were trying for our second one, and it just seemed like it was like, bro, like took a year.
yeah.
And then the third one, the ones that we weren't trying to get pregnant for, was like, okay, here we go.
Our
So,
first one took us like 4 months. Our second one took us like 1.5 months. This one was the first time we tried. We're like, okay, we're gonna try it. And then we didn't know that though yet. Genuinely, we didn't know that yet because my wife did like tests and she's like, what the heck? And so at the 8-week follow up, like 8 weeks down the road, she had some signs and she's like, this is really weird. And then she did like the math and she's like, wow, of course, this one, the first time we decided to say, hey, we're gonna have a baby, we literally like God's like, boom, baby. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But it's not as easy. Like in high school, they made it seem like you sleep with one woman, that's it, is done. And
you
like
look at them and they become,
yeah,
you look at them one time.
you just
and you're
think
gonna-
about it. You just think about being pregnant, and all of a sudden you have a family of 6. Like I'm like, I wish it was that easy sometimes. Like, especially
Right.
the times when you're like trying to be intentional about building your family and like doing that stuff. But that was the one thing where it was just different. But we're hoping that if we do have a fourth, I was like, I want it to be in May, so we're gonna try to like space
Oh,
it
and
out.
you're
But
like, you're gonna get December again. Bro.
oh, we'd have to realistically, we have to kind of time it to shoot for like June or July to get it as close to May as possible.
It's so funny though, bro. You're gonna be saving all year long for that month. That month gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be horrible. But we've been telling people like it doesn't, like I don't care. Right now they're at a stage where they don't really care still about
Right.
presents. So it's like
No.
just the idea of that. I don't want them sitting at Christmas and seeing all the like nephews and like all the nieces opening their presents and they're like, why don't I have mine? And because they have that mentality, well, you opened your, what is it called? You opened your gifts for your birthday, like that was your birthday and Christmas gifts. And so like it doesn't have to be anything. I'm not asking you guys to buy, like we'll buy the expensive stuff, I don't care. But I mean, if my aunts and uncles or my wife's aunts and uncles want to buy them something like extraneous, that's cool. But we just tell them like, hey, it's not their fault. Like you kind of treat, for me, how I've seen it too, and I feel like the Lord's giving me that revelation, is just like you're kind of punishing them for being born when you in during the holiday weekends, like, hey, you only get one gift because you were born in December. Like, that's bad. It's like they should get to experience
Right. Their
opening gift.
birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and opening
Yep.
gifts on, because it's either or. I feel like we've been watching a lot of families, like videos about people that have kids born around the holidays, and it's either or. It's either like they get all their gifts up front at their birthday, or they get just a gift on, they like wait until Christmas, and that's what it is, but they don't get both, you know. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. And there's going to be a point where it doesn't matter, but for right now, while they're growing up, I just want them to do that.
Yeah, when they're older, like I mean, we all reach a point where it's like, yeah, my birthday came this past year, but it was like we were going through a lot of stuff, and so I was like, yeah, it's just my birthday, cool. Like we'll have many more. But when they're kids, like until they graduate and they, move out of the house and stuff like that, you want it to be as special as possible, and whatnot. So yeah. But anyway, it's a different world, bro. Trying to figure out how to utilize that and trying to like, because I never thought in a million years I'd have a kid born on Christmas, like Christmas time. So it's just a weird spin to it, man. It's just a weird spin.
I would have never thought that either. I just sat there and I'm like, oh, we had a December baby. That's pretty cool. Like, I don't know many people that are born in December, like close friends and stuff and family. I was like, I don't think I have anybody that's like born in December. So my daughter was the first. I was like, that's pretty dope. And then now all my kids are December. Like, God's like, oh, you don't know many people born in December. How about we make
I'll give you I'll give
Yeah.
you a quiver full of arrows, baby. All December.
They're all gonna be Decembered.
We do, our daughter thinks that anytime we see Christmas lights that they're for her birthday, that people are putting up Christmas lights for her birthday, and so she feels all special about it and whatnot. So it's kind of cute.
That's good. I think we can get away with that with my son. We wouldn't be probably able to get away with that with my daughter because she's born at the beginning of the month. But now with daughter or son that gets born around this time, literally is gonna be that stuff. Here's a starting 5 roster of December babies. Legit. That's 100%. You got
true.
4 siblings born in December. Andre, see, like I've never met anybody legitimately. I think maybe like I've met acquaintances, like people in passing that are like, my birthday's in December, or like my birthday's in Christmas, and I'm like, yo, that's cool. But like personally, all my friends' birthdays are like a good mix, but most of them are actually in the summer. I have a lot of friends who are born in the summer times between like April and July. I don't have friends that are born in like December. I have a few friends that have their birthdays on October, like 31st on Halloween, and some that have it in November and like on Thanksgiving, but nobody in my roster of friends circle I feel like is born in December. But now all my kids are born in December, so
now you got a whole circle. You got a whole circle of kids.
What's going on, Shadeless over on Kick? No, but yeah, it's funny because like I don't think it's one of those weird things. Like I'm okay with not having friends' birthdays in December. Not that I don't want friends that way, but it's like the Lord's like, here's a weird itch that you didn't know that you had, but now you have it.
It's just like I mean, it's so funny. I think the Lord sometimes will, I don't know. And obviously this isn't like, there's no like biblical evidence of this, but it just from experience of what I've experienced is really funny how sometimes we'll be like, I've never experienced this, or like, there's no way I would do this. And God's like, bet. Because I remember when I was like 19, I told the Lord, no, I never want to move to Louisiana. I don't want to be associated with Louisiana because I don't want to live in the humidity. I don't want to live in any of this. Like, I don't want to do it. And then God's like, bet. And then 6 years later, guess where I'm at? Louisiana.
I think I can concur because that's the same thing I had with North Dakota. I was like, we're not going to North Dakota. I don't care. Like, I'm just not doing North Dakota. And now I'm here in North Dakota, which is like sucky. Like, I don't like being here, but I'm not like a Jonah where I'm just like running away from God and getting stuck in the whale's mouth. Like, I'm like, fine, I'll be here.
Crying out to the Lord, whining, like, God, why?
Everybody repent. I don't want to be here no more. Like, that's what I feel like. I'm walking around the street.
Wearing a sackcloth, just pouring ash on your head.
Yeah, that's what I feel. It's miserable, but that's just like literally what it feels like. But I spent some time in Louisiana. I got the whole Louisiana package when I was there for like 3 weeks.
We're rolling, man. Crawfish, gator hunting.
Literally. Well, I didn't really get to have beignets at the French Quarter, but everything else, yeah, I got like full Louisiana stuff. I think the only thing that really bothered me is like, I guess I don't know if it's you guys can attest to it, I guess, but is the phrase that I love you half to death. That doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't like that phrase at all.
There's a lot of phrases out here that we don't understand still. There's also a lot of words that are pronounced funny here, or there's a lot of spelling here that you're like, okay, why didn't we just spell it this way and make it simpler? No, we had to be Louisiana with it.
Yeah. I had two people from our tour was from Louisiana, and so they'd always say like, "I love y'all half to death." I was like, "So you love me until you're 50 or whatever your lifespan is. If you're gonna die at 75, then like at 35.5 years of life, you're gonna be like, don't love you no more because I love you half to death. Like I don't love you till death." That's what I've heard before, but now I'm like, what the heck is half to death mean? That doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense.
I had the
Love it.
original because the original Raisin Canes is down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, original Raisin Canes and Popeyes. I had that. Cliff
Raisin
definitely made that like point. You guys have to go do this, even though it's like tasted almost the same everywhere else. But just sitting here like
Except for
something.
Popeyes. Popeyes is definitely a noticeable difference here. That was the only thing. Raising Cane's is kind of mid. I'll be honest with you. It's just chicken fingers, fingers, fenders, chicken fenders,
Chicken fed.
chicken
Your
fingers
Louisiana is showing.
they did chicken fingers with the cane sauce that was fire. I love the cane sauce, but it's kind of just like chicken tenders. Woo.
Compared to all the chicken that I've tried, because I did try a lot of chicken while I was on tour, I think that Raisin Cane's by far like surpassed a lot.
Really?
And yeah, I don't.
Maybe I
Like,
just weren't accustomed to it.
Zaxby's. Well, we got Raisin Canes in Tucson probably a year and a half before I went on this missionary tour, and so I've had it for a while and like it was bussin'. I think that's a word that you guys used up there too, bussin'. Because I'm just thinking of my friend Tyler, and I'm a good friend. He's good friends with me, but and he still chats with me still today, and I'm just like, when I hear him talk to me, and I like, here's how a normal person talks, and then there's like a Louisianian like deep talk. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I can somehow understand what you're saying, but I don't actually know how I'm understanding what you're saying, but it still makes sense at the same time. It's
Right.
weird.
People, it's so funny because when I moved here, you think of Louisiana having a certain kind of accent, but Louisiana has like 20 different, like it feels like 20 different accents. You have the Chalmette accent, which you guys were at, where they sound like they're from Jersey, like
Oh yeah,
straight
yeah.
up from the East Coast, because there's so much Italian lineage, so they have kind of the same kind of way of talking, and so I was like, what the heck, this is so weird. And then you have the New Orleans accent, which is it's like kind of like you're like baby, stuff like that, like they talk kind of like that. And so and then
Nolans.
you have
We from Nolans.
yeah. And then it's just a different, and then Northern Louisiana has a totally different accent as well. And so it's a total like just it's a mosh pit, bro. That's so funny.
Yeah, I was very much impressed there. I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy of everything that's happening. Like everything that was going on. One thing, and not to offend people in Louisiana, but one thing I really didn't think was so crazy that they had me try out po' boys. Like, you got to try a po' boy. I was like, what the heck is a po' boy? A po' boy sandwich. And then when I had a sandwich, I'm like, bro, this is just a sub.
It's the bread, bro. You gotta appreciate the bread.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know where we went. Actually, this one you could ask maybe if it's still there. I don't know. I know a lot of things just in general throughout the United States got shut down during COVID, or shut down after COVID, or during COVID. But literally like took us to the place like, this is the best po' boy spot. And I forget where it was, but I know that, like, if I'm trying to recall my brain, because I remember asking him a question about, I think, about tithing in general, and we were just chatting a lot about like the word and stuff at this place. But if I remember correctly, outside of this business was the levees, because they had this giant hill, and he was talking about that there's like, that's basically like the levees, and there's like boats, massive huge boats in front of us. I was like, yeah, this is the po' boy spot. And I was like, cool, po' boy, like.
Well, the thing about people in Chalmette, they think that all the stuff that they have in Chalmette is the best because there's nothing in Chalmette.
Really? Y'all had a lot there. I feel like more than what I would see in Arizona, at least Tucson, Arizona.
Probably more in North Dakota, probably.
Oh, 100%. There's nothing here. When people, my biggest thing, and this is in general, like y'all, my biggest thing in general, like things for people from Tucson always go, there's nothing to do in Tucson. And I'm like, cool, just go to, like, now literally move to Bismarck, North Dakota, where we have basically the Walmart, the bank, the church, and that's it.
Isn't it? Is Bismarck the capital?
Yeah, no, it's work. It look the Bismarck is the capital, and so the neighboring city is Fargo, and Fargo has 10 billion times more things to do. It's still not as much, but they have 10 billion things more to do than the capital
That's
of,
hilarious.
which doesn't make any sense because when you think of every every capital in the United States, every capital city, like that's the hot spot for everything. Like anything new first goes there, then it like
Right.
bleeds into everything. No, that's not the case. Not the case here and stuff at all.
What's the population of North Dakota? Like 20?
I think they said it
Well,
now that the new census is like 70 some thousand people. When we moved here, it said it was like a total like
not
oh
even a
no
million people.
50 no 500,000 people total throughout the entire state. I was like, wow, the whole state of North Dakota can literally fit inside of Tucson, literally, because that's
Insane.
500,000 people in Tucson alone. That's not counting suburbs like Tawarita or some other ones on there.
Dude,
That's not counting
there's
suburbs.
no one. It's like a tumbleweeds. You have more tumbleweeds than you have people in North Dakota.
Yeah, it's miserable. I don't recommend up here. And somehow, like, one of their greatest prides and joys is that Theodore Roosevelt loved this state. That's the biggest thing. Everything is about Theodore Roosevelt down here. It's really weird. Like there's that, and then there's this other. I don't know. The history of here is Theodore Roosevelt and Lewis and Clark. That's what they are. That's all it is here. And I'm sitting here like that's great, guys. Like awesome.
Yeah, New York City is cool, but did you know that Theodore Roosevelt loved North Dakota?
Yeah, that's literally like Theodore Roosevelt thought this is crazy great and all this other stuff, and I'm like, that's cool. If you go to Medora, that's where he spent most of his time because there's like actual mountains. Because it like Medora, North Dakota, you have a little bit of bleed from Montana, which has some mountains in there, and it looks nice up there. But when we went there, it was like super country. Like that's another thing that I just don't like is like I personally just I've tried. I hate country music and I just hate everything country. I can't. I just fall asleep through it, and I'm not like in any shape, way, or form enjoying about that. Even though I lived in the Wild West, but literally
Arizona's different. That's a different thing. Arizona and country are two different. The Arizona Wild West and the country, two different things.
Yeah. And it just like literally they had old style saloons and everything at this place, and it was a cool spot. But I'm sitting here like
it's a cool place to visit, not a fun place to just be.
Yeah, there's nothing to do here. And then this is the other thing is that like if you want to do, people always say like there's plenty of stuff to do here. I'm like, yeah, if you got money. Like North Dakota, the only thing that is good about North Dakota is that it's very wealthy because a lot of the oil and everything comes out from like that like funnels into the U.S. is up here. Big oil booms and stuff like that. So like thinking about history, I'm like, that's really cool. We store all of our nukes up here. So that's all that other stuff. So military wise, it's pretty big up here. Other than that, literally there's no reason to be up here and stuff like, but I will say like cultural wise, it's kind of cool to be at a place where I've never seen real like Russian and like like authentic Germans and Norwegians. A lot of them of those refugees live here for some reason. Maybe just because they're used to their stuff. And I was like, why do you guys live in ridiculously cold weather? But like most of my neighbors are Russians, and I can or Czech Republic.
They're just used to the cold, to the frigid cold.
So I've had my fair share of authentic North Dakotan food, and I just don't like their accent. Their accent is just horrible here. I don't have it.
Like a mixture of like it's like a Canadian kind of Canadian too, huh?
A little bit of Canadian, and they stretch out their O's for everything. So I just don't like.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
North Dakota.
Shayla's can attest. He's because some people actually have a lot of people like basically travel from here, and that's the most exciting thing is that they travel a lot. So they're like, "What'd you do this weekend?" I went to Minnesota, and I was like,
Minnesota. I went to Minnesota.
They're like, "Oh, don't ya know there, man?
Don't ya know?
Oh, don't ya know?
Oh, Bob.
Oh, hey there, bud. Don't ya know?
Hey there, bud. Huh?
Oh. And this has Minnesota stuff, but it's like this is Norwegian, but they use the word "ufta." Like "ufta" is basically like like a holy crap or what the heck or this just happened. Like that's just the "ufta." Oh, I spilled a bunch of the beans. "Ufta." Like
"ufta."
And then everything else like it's just not that great. There's not a big melting pot here or any. I'm just used to all that other stuff, so I was noticing that and like learning a lot from people just that I've been around the cities. Like even here, North Dakota is weird too in a way where, and doesn't pertain, but it makes sense in a sense. They don't allow a lot of things to come in here. So part of not the reason why North Dakota isn't that great isn't because people don't want to come here. I mean, probably that's one of the reasons, but the other thing is that they just don't allow how things here. One of the things that caught my eyes is I went to a doctor and I was telling him, like, I really just wish, because we have to use CVS pharmacy here and I hate CVS personally because they just spam me with phone calls and a whole lot of things. And then they were telling me how, like, they just, for some odd reason, like 20-ish years ago, they like vetoed to allow any other pharmacies than, like, CVS is the only major pharmacy that's allowed to be in North Dakota, and like the rest of them are mom and pop pharmacies. And I was like, wow, that's really weird. And then the doctor was telling me, like, they don't know how it happened, but like Costco squeezed in a pharmacy in here. And so like Costco is the only other exciting thing that we do here, is like literally when we say we're going to Costco, that's
Free
probably
samples, let's go.
Yeah. And they have like a pharmacy there. But it's weird to think, like, I sat there and told my wife, I was like, I like, not that this affected me in any way, but like from Tucson, I go to a Walmart and there's a pharmacy section. Here, the Walmarts don't have pharmacy sections. Sam's Club doesn't have a pharmacy section. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then like, and that made more sense. I'm like, wow, people literally just decide what they don't want here, and then it just never happens, and they never come here.
Right.
And I was like, man, that's kind of crazy. So that's why this place sucks. That's great to know. But it just like weird things that I just learned. I'm like, oh, that's probably
it's
a hoax.
winter for 9 months too, you said.
For most of the time, yeah. This winter hasn't been too bad. It's been in the 40s. That doesn't sound like it's hot, but the only thing that's really cool to experience here is that when it's negative degree weather and there's just snow on the ground but no wind, it feels like it's 70 degrees outside. I don't know how to explain it, but it literally does. Like, I'm able to walk around in what I have on right now, and there could be snow on the ground. It could say on the thing that it's negative something degrees, but if there's no wind, it literally, you're like sweating. It's just really weird. It's just so weird. But then the wind picks up and you just hate your life, and you probably would die afterwards.
It's probably like daggers, it feels.
Oh, it's worse than that. It's just insane. But that's the only other thing. But that's the same thing like in Arizona. If anybody ever goes to Arizona, to experience instant evaporation is actually pretty cool. If you go to like a pool, or you can even experience this in the shower. And I don't think you've ever been at a super dry heat place, Dill, but if you ever, like, the one thing here that I've noticed is that every time I get out of the shower, I just feel sticky and moist still all the time. Over there, because it's so dry, no matter where you're at, even in house.
California too. California's the same way. Arizona's probably a little worse, but California's dry heat too. We get 110 sometimes in the valley.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, but California is a little bit more moist just because you're right next to the ocean. Arizona is like right in the perfect moment where there's like hardly anything for moisture. Right. But the cool thing is just that instant evaporation. Like, you can go into a pool and come out and it feels like it's literally like 30 degrees because the water's evaporating so fast off your body, it's freezing you. So you can actually like get hyperthermia in 100-degree weather because of instant evaporation. Crazy. I was like, I didn't even know that.
Well, my wife's from Lake Havasu originally.
Lake Havasu, hey.
Yeah, she lived there for like 10 years only. They were born in Cali, but they lived in Arizona for like most of their life.
That's probably the best place. And in the way that California is going right now, it's probably not the best. Yeah. Like, people make a case.
Nope. I like California to visit. I wouldn't want to go move back there again.
No, I wouldn't.
Cali boy through and through, but I would not want to move back.
I like it, but it's just too expensive. Like, I don't know. I know. I think Ruslan tries to make a case all the time of like Cali's the best place to be at, but I have friends that own businesses there, and they're like, even just now.
As a business owner, no. If you're an executive or you're working a job that pays decent, yeah, it's not bad. But if you're a business owner, it's horrible.
Yeah,
horrible.
It's just there's so much wrong. But we had a long time chatting about it, which is great. I just was thinking right now, we probably should get on to the rest of the topics.
It's okay. We're chilling. We're vibing. Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to get to you guys what y'all have been waiting for so long. I know it's been in the makings, but we're going to get this going. So one of the topics that, there's a few topics and I'm really interested in these topics, and some of them will wing it. My notes didn't save, but it's fine. We're going to chat about content creation.